تم بدء التسجيل.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. I guess you can. 17 out of 64. Well, that's okay. You can. Right. Let's get started on our subject. Now, before we start, I just want to make two announcements. The first one is about the assignment. Thank you for those who submitted their assignment. Most of you did. Some of you didn't. For those who did not submit the assignment, you've got to work harder, because if you fall back, is the worst thing. Believe me, if you do fall back, it's the worst thing. So keep up with the work. As I said, and from now on, we're going to have to start doing more intense work. So even with the slides, you will see me skipping some of them, and you are required to study them. Do not raise your hands just yet. Leave it to the end of the lecture. So you've got to keep up with the work. Obviously, the deadline has passed, I think, yesterday. Still do the work if you have not done it yet, for your own benefit. But I will not mark it because the deadline has passed. Yeah, right. So that's the first one. Second one is about some students have been asking me to demonstrate the coding for you. So do some coding together on the blackboard. Now, because of the time limitations, I only see you 1 hour a week. It is difficult to do that. But what I will do is I will create my own sessions, just me, no students, and I will be doing some codings for you, and I'll put them on the recording section, so you can always refer back to them when you have to. So when I basically explain any topic for you, I will do some coding for you for your own, to get benefits from as well. Okay. All right, let's get started with the chapter 2. Now, chapter 2, as I said to you, is intense. It contains over 120 slides, so it's quite a lot of slides. So what I'll do, I'll go quickly through some of them. Some of them I will have to skip, but it is your responsibility to read them. Right. So this subject, we talked in chapter 2 when we talked about. We gave introduction about programming in Java, and I think we stopped last time on on your assignment, which was, I think, I gave you an algorithm. I explained to you what algorithm was, what a pseudocode was, and I did say pseudocode is a code that does not compile. Basically, your syntax, the syntax of the code, is the one that compiles. So we, instead of typing the code straight away, we do planning for the code. So we write something called pseudocode. It's a plain English language. In a plain English language, we write our code. Instead of typing the syntax, we type in English. But it will give us the structure of the code. Okay? And then after we do our pseudocode, we then translate it into programming language. And I said to you, the worst thing is, when you are given a problem, is to jump on the coding itself straight away, because 9 out of 10 you will make errors. But if you think about the problem first on pen and paper, write your planning, write the algorithm, write the pseudocode for it, then translate what you've done into syntax, then it will be a better job. Now, in this chapter, we'll be talking about objects. I did explain to you what objects were, and I said to you that everything in the universe is an object, and all objects share two characteristics. Every object has attributes and behaviors. I did say to you attributes, الخصائص, behavior, السلوكيات. We will get to know more about these in these lectures. So in this chapter, we will learn about a very important term, terminology. It's called variables, متغيرات, and every program has variables, متغيرات. We'll talk about classes and objects, methods, and so on. Right. Let's skip this one. We talked about objects and classes. Objects, right, okay. So if you come to the definitions, These are the official definition. What is an object? An object is an entity, answer, in your program that you can manipulate by calling one or more of its methods. تقدر تستخدم الobject, you can manipulate it, تغيره وتعدله إلى آخره باستخدام المethod. Now المethod, I think I did explain some about the methods last time. Methods, as I said to you, every object has attributes and behavior. Now the attributes are given as outlines. For example, if you remember the time example I gave you last lecture, I think, and we did say the time is an object consists of attributes and behaviors. The attributes of the time is the hour, the minutes, and the seconds. These ones, you put them as outlines of the code. While if you want to set the rules for how the time behaves, you do that in the method. So the method, in the method you put the sulukiyat, you put the behavior of the object. Right. Now what is the method? The official definition consists of a sequence of instruction that can access the data of an object. يعني يحتوي على instructions, تعليمات, أوامر إلى آخره, قوانين, how this behaves. Now the car's behavior is to speed up, to turn right, to turn left. This is all behavior. You can set the rules of these behavior in the method. Right. Now, even the line of code, if you remember, system.out.println is actually a method. It's actually a method. You are calling a method. As I said to you, someone has programmed it for you. You are calling it. You are using it because even this is a method. It has a behavior. You are telling the program to print a line by instructing it. System.out.println. You are instructing the program to print a line of text. Now this itself is a work, is a method. Someone has done it for you, you just call it. Right, let's move on. Classes, okay. The class, this is the definition of a class. A class describes a set of objects with the same behavior or similar behavior. Now, as I said to you, in Java, Java program is divided into classes, at least one class. And the class itself is an object and has many objects. Right. We normally, in a class, when we talk about classes, we talk about kind of organizing our work. So you normally put the objects of similar behavior in one class. So, for example, if I ask you to create, if I can do it, if I ask you to create a class, right, of, for example, if you have the properties, you have, for example, you have a car, you also have a mobile, and you have a computer called PC. Right. Now, if I ask you to put your belongings, these are your properties, your belongings, put them in a code, just to organize them. Now, it is not wise to put them all in one class, because every object of these, the car, the mobile, and the PC, are different. The car is not the same as the mobile, it's not the same as the PC, and so on. So what you do, you create a class for every one of them that share its own, or it has its own characteristics. So for example, you put the car class, you put it here, and then you open another class, you call, for example, mobile, okay, and you put finally you put the last one, you call a class, for example, PC, right? So you create a class for every single one of them. So this is a way of doing programming. So you do not combine them all together. So remember this. In every class, you put the objects that have similar behaviors. Similarly, if I ask you to create a bank account class, so you will have the bank account itself, and you will have only the bank account, and you will put all the behaviors in it, right? Right, so let's have a look, let's go back again. Okay, so in a class, you In a class, you describe or you put in the sets of objects, the object that they share the same behavior, right? Okay. These ones we talked about in previous classes. Okay. So, for example, in the class, the object print stream is where you get the system.out.println. Do you remember system.out.println? It's a method. You get it from this object here, from this class here, print stream. Someone has done the print stream for you. When you type in system.out.println, the program knows where to get the code from. Gets it from here. That's in the library. And I did say to you, now the library of Java is very rich. It's got many things. Now, and you do not, the beauty of it, you do not need to know every single line of code in there. As I said to you before, you do not need to know the mechanism of driving a car in order to drive a car. So you can drive a car without knowing the mechanics of a car. Okay, same thing in the programming. You can actually program without having to know the mechanism of how some certain codes work. Right. Now, these you will find out that these self questions, you will find them often in our slides. Please do study them. They are important, and you've got the questions and you've got the answers in every one of them. So it is important because for two reasons. The first one is for your own benefit. Some of them do have some valuable information that you might find useful. And also, when I come to do the exam questions, I might actually use some of them questions in your exam paper. Some of them I do find interesting to put in. They are easy, but they show your understanding. So when I put them in the exam, also for me to check whether you have been studying your slides, even the ones that I do not explain to you, they are there for you to read. As I said to you, you're an open university student, you need to do some extra work yourself, right? So please do read them. Now, I kind of talked quickly about what I said before because I think these were like obvious. You already know them and we talked about them before. Now, I think this area I have not covered yet, which are variables. Variables يعني متغيرات. This is the topic that I want to explain you in details today. Variables المتغيرات. Every class object has to have variables متغيرات. Now, المتغيرات could be attributes. For example, when I give you the time example, the time has the attributes hour, minute, and second. These are called variables متغيرات. متغيرات ليش متغيرات? Because they can have any value in them. متغيرات. You can put any value in them. Now, the way we write a variable or distinguish a variable, it always has these elements, العناصر التالية. First of all, it must have, by the way, we call this a declaration. So we declare a variable. How do we declare a variable? كيف نعرف متغير بالعناصر التالية. First of all, it has to have a type. نوع. إيش نوع الفاريبل؟ Right? It also has a name. اسم. طيب. النوع we call it either, let me write it for you in text is better. Okay. Okay, we call the type, we either call it the one you saw int and you come across string and double. We either call them keywords or reserve words. يعني كلمات محجوزة. كلمة محجوزة. إيش يعني كلمة محجوزة? It has to be written exactly as it's supposed to be. For example, int. What does int mean? Int basically means integer. يعني رقم صحيح. رقم صحيح. لا في كسور ولا شيء. رقم صحيح integer, and it has to be written in this manner, int, all small, because it is a reserved word, كلمة محجوزة. This is the way we program it. If we write integer, example integer width, we will have an error. Now I'm going to open the chat for you. Tell me what kind of, if I write integer width instead of int width, what kind of error will I get? Do you remember last week we spoke about the types of errors, and we said we have two types of errors. So if I write integer width, what kind of error is that? If you remember. Yeah. Syntax error, or not time error, not on time, it's compile time, that's right. Yeah, it's either, thank you very much, so are you still in the, still with me. That's good. It's either called compile time error, or compile time error, or syntax error. Why? Because it's a programming mistake. Now, the people who put runtime error, no, it's not, because we said runtime error is a logical error that you make by logic. Now, a syntax error or a compile time error is an error, it's a programming error. Now, this is a class integer width, a class as a programming error. So it's a compile time error because the syntax must be int, not integer. Right, so let's go back. Okay, so this is the first element, int, which is called a type. I'll explain to you about types in a bit. And then we have a width. A width, this is متغير. يعني you can call it any name you want. But it has to have two rules. First of all, it has to have a meaning. يعني لو تحبوا تكتبوا bank account رقم حساب يعني نبرمج bank account او بنك يعني حسابات بنك في البرمجة and you want to write an account number رقم حساب. Now you can give it any name you want, but it has to be meaningful. يعني لو نكتب على الحساب يعني it has to be يعني الافضل انه نسميها bank account, so we know what we're talking about. Okay, so it has to have a meaning. That's the first thing. The second rule, it has to be always the same. So even it is a case sensitive. So for example, width in here, as you can see, it is written all in small. So if we refer to it back later, it always have to have the same spelling exactly. The same spelling, and we have to take into consideration the lowercase and an uppercase. It has to be exactly the same. Now also, this is the two elements. So we have integer, we have the type, and we have the name of the variable. Also, the variable has to have a value. We cannot have in a programming language, we cannot write or declare a variable without a value. Otherwise, we don't have to do it. Why do we create variables? To put values. ليش أصلاً نسوي variables? So to have a value in them. If you do not have a value, you will have an error. The program will not compile. Right. Also, to end the declaration of kind of everything here, we have to have a semicolon. Okay. This is a way to show that we have ended the declaration of the variable. Now we'll explain more about this. So if you look at this diagram, it's quite useful. Here, the first one is the type. We have many types, but I'll explain to you about three today. We have strings, doubles, and integers. This one here is the name. This one here is the value, and we end with a semicolon. Right. A variable, when we open a variable or when we declare a variable in a program, it will open a space in storage. So it will store itself in the memory whenever it is called, it will be used. Now, this table is useful, shows you the proper way of declaring variables. Now, this way is correct in creating variables. It does have the type, the name of the variable, which by the way now we're going to see height and width. width هو العرض مثلا الاشكال الهندسيه مربع مستطيل الى اخره. والعرض. الهايت هو الطول. فيعني it is wide obviously we're talking about العرض مثلا المستطيل او المربع. We use width and it has to be integer رقم and we give it a value. Okay, so this is a proper way. Also, this is also a proper way. If we, for example, want to calculate the parameter محيط المربع على سبيل المثال, we give it a width. طبعا المربع محيطه ضرب 4 من الأضلاع تاعه. تمام؟ فأقدر أسوي أنه أعطيه declaration, أعطيه التايب تاعه integer, أعطيه الاسم, بعدين بدل ما أعطيه value I put it in a mathematical expression. So I put 4 times the width. This will give me the value of the parameter. It's correct. We can still do this. This is also a proper way. I'm using string. Do you remember I told about strings? It must always have double quotations. Double quotations. Always strings must have double quotations to show that this is string. And with the strings, you cannot do any mathematical operation. ما تقدر تجمعوا وتضربوا وتطرحوا بالstrings. You can only do that with the integer and the doubles. Right. Now, this is a wrong way of declaring a variable. Why? For example, here, they did not declare the type. They only put height equals 30. What is height? Okay, so this is wrong. This is also wrong. Now, can you tell me, I'm going to open the chat, can you tell me why this is wrong? Can you tell me why this is wrong? Yeah, quotations, fantastic, good, thank you. Okay, that's right, because it has a quotation marks. Now we said the quotation marks only come with the string, only come with the string. As I said to you, because we cannot do any mathematical operation with the strings, but we can do that with the obviously the integer and the doubles. We can do mathematical operations, multiply, divide, إلى آخره. Now also, by the way, let me give you an example here. If I give you a from there? Right. If we talk about account number, bank account. So if we open a class, call it for example bank account. Okay, bank account. Right. And we want to declare a variable called account number, رقم الحساب. طبعا قبل ما اعطيه value account type account number okay equals 1 2 3 4 5 اوكي account number equals 1 2 3 4 5. طيب رقم الحساب شوفوا الان نفكر لوجيك في البرمجه. رقم الحساب do we ever do mathematical operation؟ عندنا رقم حساب، رقم الحساب طبعا ممكن يكون ارقام، ممكن يكون ارقام واحرف، لكن رقم الحساب البنك كل واحد عنده حساب في البنك، رقم حسابه هل نقدر نجمعه؟ هل نقدر نطرحه؟ هل نقدر نضربه الى اخره ونقسمه؟ طبعا لا، رقم الحساب ثابت هو رقم حساب. طيب معناته it is wise to class it as string so we can give it the type string. ليش؟ طبعا انا خليت مسافه مثلا. اوكي ليش؟ لانه اصلا يعني ما راح اقدر اسوي اي عمليه حسابيه مع رقم الحساب. So I can to get يعني peace of mind and to get away from the calculations and stuff I can class it as string but I have to put double quotations here. Okay, so now 1 2 3 4 5 they are no longer أرقام, no longer numbers. The computer will treat them as string كأنه أحرف. بالنسبة للكمبيوتر الآن 1 2 3 4 5 بالنسبة للجهاز بالنسبة للبروجرام they are characters, they are text أحرف. ليش؟ Because we declared the variable as string. String means أحرف and we put the double quotation. So now the 1 2 3 4 although they are numbers but now we are treating them as string, as text. Okay, this understood? I hope it is. Okay, right, let's go back. Right, Now this is, oh, right. Okay, this is also a proper way of declaring. You can put int width without a value. Now, it is okay to do that as long as you declare the value later. For example, later in the program, you can put width. By the way, you only have to declare the width once, okay, as a type. Now, later on, you can put, okay, then the width equals, for example, 10, then that's fine. As long as you declare it somewhere, this is fine before you compile your program. Also, if you want to declare more than one variable as integer, you can do it in this manner. This is also correct. You put the type, as long as they are of the same type. As long as they are of the same type. You can put the type integer, for example, and then width separated by comma, height, and so on. Eventually, when you want to end your declaration, you put the semicolon. Now later on, you can declare values for them as we did in here. Now, if they are all of the same value, you can still, before you put a semicolon, put equals, for example, 10, to show that the width and the height, they both equal 10, and then you put your semicolon. Okay, these are all different ways in declaring variables. So I find this table useful. So do have a look at it, please. Right. Now let us talk about the types. As I said to you, there are many types of variables, but we will talk about 3 only for the time being. We talked about the integer, which is a whole number that has no there's no decimal points in it. We also have in Java, we have double. Double means that we have a decimal point, okay? So if we declare double, we have kusur. Strings, as I said to you, means we have text only. Even if you put numbers in here, it will still be treated as text. Right, okay. Now, where was I? Okay. Also, I want to mention to you, I'll talk to you in a bit. I'll tell you this in a bit. Right, okay. Right, these are some rules about, I got the phone call, I got distracted a little bit. Right, okay. Let's talk about the some rules in creating the variable name. Now, as I said to you, always pick a name that has a meaning. Always pick a name that has a meaning. It has a purpose. So if we're talking about the bank account, put name bank account. If we're talking about height and width, يعني نتكلم على عملية حسابية للمستطيل المربع, put the proper names like width, height. If you're talking about the area, put area. Okay, إذا أتكلم عن المحيط, put area, and so on. So always put a name, use a name that, as I said to you, the names of the variables they're called variables. So you can put any name you want, but always choose a meaningful name. Okay. Also, we'll talk about the variables, methods, and classes. They're all the same anyway. I mean, they have the same purpose. Now, all of them, the variables, the methods, and the classes, have to start, the name of them, have to start with a letter or underscore. Okay? Always the variable name, the method name, or the class name, they must start with a letter or underscore. And the remaining characters, الباقي, ممكن نخلي زي ما نحب letters, numbers, or underscores. Only letters, numbers, and underscores. Now, these are not allowed. If you put like percentage or question mark or إلى آخره, they are not allowed. Also, spaces are not allowed. So if you want to put your name, if you want to declare my name, you cannot put my name. You cannot put my name with a space in here. This will be wrong. You either combine them in one word, my name, or use underscore, my underscore. Excuse my mouse writing, it doesn't work well. Right, okay. So to distinguish between, if you have two words, and obviously you have to, as I said, you have to combine them in one, you can distinguish by making the first letter of the next word capital. So for example, miles per gallon, there are three words. Miles per gallon. Okay, so you can write per and gallon, you can start with a capital letter, so just to distinguish or just to show that this is a different word. Okay, so this is just a habit of it's not essential, but it's a habit of programming. Also, the names are case sensitive, as I explained to you. This is important. You cannot use reserved words as names. For example, the word double. It's a reserved word. As I said to you, double means you can use decimal points. هي كلمة محجوزة. يعني it's a syntax. Now, because it is a syntax, you cannot use it as a variable name. And you know it's a reserved word if you do programming. If you write the syntax in double string, you will find them in blue. I don't know if you notice this. If you do programming, you will notice that the reserved words always change to a different color in the programming, in most of the compilers, just to show that these are reserved words. They must be as they are. Okay? Now, because they are reserved words, we cannot use them as names for the variables. Also, let me put this down. Okay. Now look at let's look at some Java convention. يعني Java habit. How people in Java agree to do things. Now, variable names start with lowercase. بالجافا الفاريبل نيم اسم المتغير في العادة نبدأ ب small letter. It's a habit of programming. This is agreed upon in Java. While a class name, we start with an uppercase letter. For example, if we go back to the time example, so if I want to create a class called time, I should create one like this, class time. The time has to begin with an uppercase letter. This is just a way of programming. And then if you want to declare the variables, for example, as I said to you, we could have int hour. The hour will start in a small, same with int minute, for example. Same with int second, and so on. Okay, so because they are variables, متغيرات, we start with a small case letter. While if we put the class, think about it, the class is the father, so we put the first letter has to be in capital and the rest in small. Right. This is, by the way, if you do it opposite way, you will not get an error. It's fine, but this is a way of programming. It's kind of a way agreed on in Java. All right. Now this table also I find it useful. It shows you the way in writing names in variables. For example, this is a correct. This is the correct way. See, a variable name, you put distance underscore 1. Okay, we have letters underscore and numbers. They are fine. Just a letter, that's also fine. Okay, so this is also correct. Now, can value, if you notice the C in the can is capital. Now, it is not wrong, but for you like a caution sign. Now, we did say in Java, the variables, normally we start with a small letter. So we can write, for example, can, with a small c, but volume, as I said to you, volume is another word. Can, volume, there are two words. Can, volume, right? So volume is the second word, but we said to you normally, because there are two words, the second word and the third one and the fourth word, as many as you have. We start with a capital just to distinguish that this is the next word. So we can put can with a small c and volume with a capital V. Okay, as you saw miles earlier in the examples, miles per gallon. The miles had a small m, but the p and the g they were capital, and just to show that these are second and third words. Now this is wrong. We cannot start with a number. Okay. Now if we delete this and we put a 6 here, this will be fine. Okay. But we cannot have. You can have the number after or the second character and third. That's fine. But we cannot have it at the front. Now can volume. This is wrong. Why this is wrong? Because it has space in between. Now, as I said to you, we cannot have space when we declare variables. A double is wrong, and we explained why. We said double or integer or string are reserved words, so we cannot use them as variable names. Now, miles gal is also wrong because we have the syntax here. We have the forward slash. Now this is wrong. Again, we can only, as I said to you, we can only have, to declare variables, we can only have letters, numbers, or underscore. And that's it. Right? Now let's look, these are variables. Do you all understand variables now? I mean, what we talked about variables? Do you all understand? If you do understand, put a green check. Do you understand about variables? How we should treat them? Okay. So far, I'm only getting green checks. So I assume you all understand what I'm talking about. That's cool. Again, if you do not understand anything, you can always email me as we agreed before. Right. Now let's talk about comments. Now comments, تعليقات. You put your comments in a program. This is a very good habit or practice in programming. It is a very appalling and very poor to have a program that has no comments. Believe me, when you do programming later on and you advance in programming, if you do not put comments, you will forget. Now, it happens to all programming. Like, for example, I myself sometimes do programs, and then a year later, I want to go back and refer to my old program. If I do not put comments, I will forget what I put. I forget, because when you do programming, you're under pressure. You are thinking of a problem, and you do coding, and you have so many things going on. If you do not put comments, you will forget. So the comments, تعليقات, normally they remind you or they explain the code to you. And the good thing is the comments do not class as syntax. So the compile, when you run the compile will ignore them. So for example, you can have this line of code, double mile per gallon. It has the decimal point in it because it's a double. Now this is the syntax. This is the code. Now if you put double or two forward slashes, double forward slashes, whatever comes after that is just a comment for you. It's just to explain the code to you. Now the good thing is the compiler will ignore this, so you will have no error. Okay, in this, because this is just a simple English language. So you can put whatever you want to put after the double forward slashes will not count it for. So you can write your thoughts, you can write your comments, you have no problem. Now, this is a way to comment a single line, is by having a double forward slashes. Now, if you want to comment a paragraph, you can do it this way. You can have a forward slash star to end it. Also, forward slash star to end it. You can have a star forward slash. So now everything in here is commented. Okay. So this is just a useful practice. So later on, when I ask you to do big projects and assignments, I expect you to comment your code. Just to explain your code, you can use comments. Right. So this lecture basically is all about just getting you to understand the important and the basic criteria of programming. Now let us talk about assignments. Now, when I say assignments, I don't mean giving you an assignment. No, I mean assigning values to variables by using the equal sign. For example, if I give you an integer width equals 10, I'm basically saying that the width has the value of 10. The width, we store the width value to be 10. Now, later in the program, I can change it. By the way, the equal sign in here does not mean equality. يساوي. doesn't mean يساوي مثل الرياضيات. الرياضيات من نحكي x تساوي 20 نعني انه فعلا x تساوي 20. So x cannot be 15. Now in programming it's quite different. When you put the equal sign, it might mean equal, but also means that it has a value that can be changed at any time. So if you have the value 10 and you assign it to width, later on, if you just basically type in width equals 20, straight away in the memory, you are changing the value from 10 to 20. So the value 10 in the memory, it will be erased, تمحى, and we will have a new value which is 20, and so on. Now, if we use the assignment in this manner, we will have an error. So if we put int variable and then int width تساوي height, we will have an error. Why? Because we have not given a value to height. As I said to you, you have to give values. So you can, in the next line or so, you can have the height, okay? Give it the value, for example, 10, okay? And then if you type in width equals height, it will be correct, meaning that if the height has the value 10, width also will have the value 10. If we change the height value to be 20, width also will have the value 20, and so on. Okay, so this is correct as I explained to you. Now, this is what I mean about the equal sign here does not necessarily mean equality, تساوي. It means assigning. For example, I can in programming have the variable name width equals width زائد 10. يعني أنا عم أحكي إنه الwidth هو يساوي width زائدا 10. طب لو كان الحكي إنه هاي تساوي، اختلف المعنى هون لأن هي لا تساوي. width تساوي width، يعني مثل ما نحكي 20 يساوي 20 زائد 10. هل هذا بالرياضيات يساوي؟ طبعا لا يساوي. 20 لا تساوي 20 زائد 10. بالبرمجة يختلف الوضع. بالبرمجة we're talking about assignments، يعني storing a value in. So I can have this width having the value from, for example, 10 or 30. For example, if we have originally in the memory, we have width تساوي 30, and then later on I decide to add 10. I can just say, okay, then width تساوي width, which is 30, زائدا add 10 to it. So in the memory slot, the number 30 will be erased, and we will have 40 instead, and so on. Now, this also gives you an explanation of the different syntaxes. Now, I'm going to ask you a question, which is in the next slide, but don't look at it. Now, I'm going to write this. I'm going to write this line, and you tell me what's wrong with it. Now, if I give you the syntax, int miles per gallon equals 39.4. Now, this line of code has 3 errors. Can you tell me, about in the chat, can you tell me what are the 3 errors in this line? No, not the G. The space is 1, double is 1, and the semicolon. Fine, right, excellent. You've answered. Right, okay. Some of you answered correctly, some of you not. Right, okay. So we have 3 errors in this. We will have a look in the next slide. Now, as I said to you, these are the questions and answers. They're quite important to have a look at them because they will help you understand some stuff. Now, if you look at this line, int miles per gallon equals 39.4. Now we have the 3 errors that will cause the program to fail to compile. So this code will not compile. Why? First of all, we declared the variable as integer, but we have written a double here. So this is incorrect. Also, between the variable name, we put spaces. This is wrong. Okay, we cannot put spaces. We either have to combine them in one word, or we can put a underscore in between. That's also correct. The third problem, or the third mistake, is we have forgotten to put the semicolon in here at the end. Without the semicolon, also the program will not compile. So these are the three errors that you get. In the exam, I might do the same. In the exam, I might give you a line of code, or I might give you a full code and ask you what the problem with it. And you have to understand the problem, understand the coding, to tell me what the problems are. And these are all for you to have a look at. You have the questions and you have the answers in all of them. So it is useful for you to understand. Now let's have a look at the last three slides. Now calling methods. As I said to you, here you call a method. يعني عندك method and you try and you call it. You use it instead of programming a method again. You can use it in multiple cases. A simple example. Do you remember the print stream that I told you about? The print stream. It's when you type in the code, the system describes the print line. You are calling a method called print stream. Okay. Someone has done the programming for you, so you just call it to print a line. Similarly, for example, if we have a string type variable called the greeting, and we put in the following sentence: "Hello world." Now, if you, for example, want to set a character limit, you can set a character limit on your work, and you want to have it 13. I think it's 13 characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The space is also character. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we have 13 characters. If you want to set a limit to 13 characters, so the user cannot put more than 13 characters, you can, for example, declare a variable and call a number of characters. See, we chose a name that has a meaning. So you put integer because it's integer, number of characters. You can put greeting, which is this one, the name of the variable, dot length. Now the dot length, you, for example, could have created a method. By the way, how do I know that this is a method? Now answer me in the chat. How do I know that this is a method? I told you about this in the last. Yes, exactly. Yes, thank you. Thanks. Well done. You're with me. Excellent. And we know that this is a method because it has this type of bracket. We know this is a method. So you can, for example, you can elsewhere, somewhere in the program, you can create a method. Call it, for example, length. Okay. Call it length, and do your own rules. You do your own rules here about the size. And then instead of programming it again here in your program, no, you can basically just call it. Call it by having the variable name, put a dot mark, and then the method name. It will bring it here for you, and it will set the rules for you, so you can use them in this syntax. Okay. As I said to you, this is telling you my example. Is saying here the method. You don't always have to know what the method is. You can just call it, just like you drive in a car. You do not have to know the mechanics of the car to drive a car. Same as in programming. This also a slide for you to read. It's telling you about the toStrings objects, how to represent strings. Now, before I open the chance for you to ask questions, let me set you another homework. As I said to you, every week I will be giving you homework. Now, we talked about variables, integers, and so on. Now, I would like you to do the following for me. This is the homework, well, homework 3. Okay? I would like you to create a program in Java, of course, to calculate the area of a rectangle تحسب لي مساحة المستطيل. مساحة المستطيل نحسبها كيف نحسبها بالرياضيات؟ العرض في الطول، أو الطول في العرض. العرض في الطول ويت، الويت ضرب عفوا الويت، العرض الويت ضرب الهايت. الويت ضرب الهايت هو مساحة المستطيل. طيب I want you to take in consideration where you need to demonstrate. لازم تشوفوني العناصر التالية. You must have int, you must have double, you must have string, and you must have obviously assignment. يعني لازم تخلون equal أصلا، لأن هي أصلا معادلة. assignment. Okay, you must have these عناصر. يعني على سبيل المثال الstring ممكن you put a title. This is a string. مثلا تكتبوا لي title. This is the calculation, or this is the area of the rectangle, or whatever you want to put as a string. You can do that. Also declare one of them. You've got two. You've got like two measurements here. You've got the width and the height. One of them use as integer, and one of them as double. So you'll have one integer, one double. Now the result, obviously you're going to have a variable called the result. How are you going to show your result? الناتج. الناتج اللي هو ناتج الضرب ما بين الويدث والهايت. الناتج has to be what? Right. Now you tell me what is the type of the result. Now don't forget, we are going to multiply integer by double. الريزلت ايش راح يكون؟ صح double, of course double, because we have double. That's right, thank you. We have double multiplied by integer. We'll have a double. صح ولا لا؟ So the result has to have a double type of double. Okay, so do your work and email it to me by deadline is next Monday midnight. Okay. So your deadline is Monday midnight. So do the programming for me and email it to me. That's it from me, and I will give you 5 or 6 minutes for you to ask questions. Now I've got the first question from Lamia. Speak. Lamia? Lamia? I cannot hear you. Can you put the microphone on? Okay, let me try again. I'm having problem hearing you. 100. Okay, speak.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام.
معلش دكتور، بس عندي كم سؤال. المحاضرة اللي راحت قلت لك ترفع المحاضرات قبلها وما رفعت المحاضرات عشان نتابع معاك، لأن كذا المعلومات مرة داخلة معانا.
Do you mean the slides?
إيه slides.
Yeah, my mistake. Sorry.
نكتب عليه.
Yeah.
ونفس المحاضرات اللي راحت ما رفعت.
Yeah, okay, I do apologize. That's just my mistake on my part. I've got so much work and I'm used to sometimes I do forget. You're right. So I will do my best to have this done before the lectures. Inshallah, next week this will be sorted. So I'll upload the lectures before upload the slides before the lecture. This is the proper way, actually. Thank you, Amjad. This is the proper way. So yeah, you always have to prepare before I give the lecture. Okay? So I will be doing that.
السؤال الثاني إنه الواجب أرسلته عن طريق الإيميل، ما رفعت عن طريق الدكتور.
That's what. Oh yeah. Always follow my instructions. I did say by email, so email it to me.
طيب هل المحاضرات تكفي عن الكتاب؟ يعني ناخذ منها المهم؟
شوف المحاضرات مختصرة. And I always said the lectures are kind of a summary of the book. يعني مختصرة. يعني دائما الامتحان اللي أجيبه هو اللي أعطيه بس. اوكي يعني طبعا اللي اعطيه مبادئه، مش يعني اللي اعطيه انه راح تجي simple questions. No, الشغلات اللي I discuss. Okay, but I always, because of the time limitation, I give you the basics. Now it is your job, and I repeat again, it is an open university. it is your job to make an effort to study harder and harder and to seek knowledge, right? So the book, it is useful because it has more details for you. I'm not saying study the whole book because it's too much for you, but the subject that I talk about, the subject I discussed, I try to read more about it in the book because the book will give you more insight of what I give you. So you'll get more understanding of what I give you. So I do encourage you to read the book, but my questions, the exams will be on the things I give you, okay, but in more details. So I give you the basics, but I'll give you harder questions.
طيب نتمنى ترفع المحاضرات حقت المادة الجاية.
إن شاء الله for next week will be ready. إن شاء الله. Okay. Now next question from Munira. Okay. Or we have Shema. Speak Shema.
Hi, Doctor. About the assignment, I already sent it yesterday in the submission in the Blackboard. I didn't use your actual email. I sent it by the Blackboard, the assignment.
Send it by email. Always follow my instructions.
In the Blackboard assignment?
Say that again?
Okay, I already sent it yesterday in the assignment section in the Blackboard.
Resend it by email.
For you?
Resend it by email. ابعثيها من جديد على الإيميل.
Oh.
Okay, it's okay. Send an email.
It's going to be count because I worked so hard for it.
That's fine. Send it by email. That's fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
And about the recording?
The recording is the recordings are available, guys. I always say to you, the recordings are available on Blackboard in the recording section. Okay, you can find the recordings in the recording section of Blackboard. Okay?
Okay. And about the grade of the assignment, still I got the grade if I send it today?
That's fine, yeah, send it to me.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Right. Okay. Right, Munira again. Munira?
Yeah, hi, Doctor. I would like to ask you about the variables in type. That you mean there's no specific type that I have to memorize or to follow it. So I will create my own type. You mean?
No, you don't. You don't create your own type. There are types, but it depends on the situation. For example, in our problem here, the area of the rectangle, you will use the type as required. For example, if you want to put a title for your work, the title has to be a string. Okay? So الشغلة تفرض نفسها. يعني ايش الشغلة اللي عندك هي اللي تفرض نفسها. فكتايتل you have to use a string. For example, money, you have to have money problem or account or anything like that, you have to use a double. لأنه دائما بالفلوس في عندنا انتجر وفي عندنا دبل، لأن الفلوس دائما في كسور. في مثلا 5 ريالات ونص، 5 ريالات و60 إلى آخره. تمام؟ فبالمصاري use double. In some cases use integer. It depends on the problem. So you do not create your own type. It depends on the problem. Okay?
Yeah, but...
Right. We have a question from Lamia. Yes?
أيوة.
Let's see.
دكتور.
Okay, Lamia? نعم.
تسمعني؟ طيب، بس حبيت أسأل عن البروجرامز اللي تفتح لي الكلاس، لأنه بعد ما برمج حابة أشوف إذا أنا الحل صح قبل أرسله ولا لا. ما حصلت للفايل فيور وطلع لي على شكل أكواد، فيا ليت يعني تعطينا سجشن.
يعني قصدك أنه الكود نفسه؟
إيه، أنا ما عندي البروجرام اللي يفتح لي الكود كلاس، يعني الدومين كلاس أو الإند، يعني حق الفايل كلاس اللي هو الجافا فايل. فما حصلت إلا الفايل فيور. الفايل فيور يطلع لي على شكل أكواد، ماني عارفة يعني.
دي
ماني عارفة يطلع لي الإجابة صحيحة أو لا.
اي نعم بلو جاي.
بلو جاي. Do you have it?
انا عندي بلو جاي.
اوكي.
إيه.
So
بس لما اسوي
basically
كومبايل وابغى اطلع السورس كود، لما اسوي كومبايل وابغى اطلع السورس كود ما يطلع لي، فحملت اكتشفت انه الكلاس فايل ما ينفتح معي. حملت سوفت وير اسمه فايل فيور، دورت على جافا كلاس ما حصلته. حملت فايل فيور بس ما يطلع لي اياه واضح، طلع لي بشكل اكواد. وضحت السؤال ولا؟
نعم تقريبا، بس المفروض when you compile, if you have no problem in your code, you must see the result. Anyway, email me screenshots.
أنا ما طلع لي problem.
Do a program for me, okay? Whatever you've done in the past, and email me screenshots of what you get.
Okay, thank you.
Right, okay, no problem. Right, we have Lina. Lina.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام. We can hear you.
السلام عليكم. ممكن تعمل لنا فيدباك بأخطائنا بالبرامج؟
Yes.
طيب ممكن تعمل لنا فيدباك I will change the
I will do that. Once I hopefully mark your assignments, I'll try to mark your assignments hopefully by the end of this week. So once I mark your assignments, I will be basically I will answer to you. There's two things. I will answer to you. I'm going to start making tutorials about programming. So I'll start programming, and you can view them at your own time. I'll give you examples, whatever I'm teaching you. I will do demos on them, and also your assignments. Once you finish them, once I mark them, I will also give you the answers. Obviously, it's not going to be like the only answer in the world. You can because you can program in hundreds of ways. But I will show you my answers, and you can compare your work with the answers. Okay, inshallah, I'll be doing this this week. Magdalene. Speak.
Good evening, Dr. Ali. Actually, I'm asking if you don't mind if I can resend my assignment for yesterday.
Okay, resend it. Why?
Actually, it's hanged. I received today send failure. By mistake, I sent it from my Hotmail, and SEU didn't accept my Hotmail.
Okay, that's fine. Resend it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, no problem. Now I'm going to take the last question now because the time has gone past. I'm going to take the last questions. The rest of you who did not get the chance to ask questions, please email me your questions and I'll try to answer them within 2 or 3 days. At the moment, well, I get like 100 email a day, so you're just going to have to bear with me until I process all the emails, because I answer all the emails in turn. So at the moment I've got like 200 emails in my account, so I'm working to answer all of the emails. So just send me your email and wait for the answer until I get you I get to your turn. Right. Last question from Latifa. 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 Okay, I can't hear Latifa. In this case, we'll take the last question from Zainab.
Hi, Victor. Good afternoon. I just want to ask about the book, software book. Is it important to take, or because I prefer the book that I can read and hold in my hand? Is it important to take their homework in the software book?
I did answer this question many times. Always follow my lectures. I did answer this question for the final time. I'll say to you, the book, it is useful, whether it's a soft book or a hard book, it is useful for you to have a look at, because the lectures I give you are a summary of the book مختصر. لكن لو في الامتحان اجيب لكم من يعني اللي اشرحه انا، الاريا اللي اشرحها، مش شرط يكون بالسهوله اللي اعطيها، طبعا راح تكون اصعب كثير اصعب من اللي قاعد احكيه. It is your responsibility to take what I'm teaching you. I'm teaching you the basics. You take them and you flourish. You take them further, right? That's the book. About the homework that you see on the blackboard, it is also for your own benefit to do it, but you are only required, the assessed ones are the ones that I give you myself. So always follow my instructions and follow my lectures. Okay? Since I've only got one hand raised from Muna, I will take the last question from Muna, since it's the last hand I can see. Muna?
السلام عليكم أستاذ.
وعليكم السلام. يس منى.
لو سمحت أستاذ، ممكن يعني تنزل لنا كل المحاضرات سواء اللي راحت أو الجاية، يعني على طول الترم، عشان يعني نقدر في أي وقت نحملها بدون ما نسألك أو نطلب منك إنك تنزلها في كل مرة، سواء الكمبيوتر أو الآي تي 110.
Right, okay, as I said to you guys, always, right, I'm going to ask you now a favor. Try not to repeat the questions. I mean, someone just asked me the same question 5 minutes ago. Just for us to save time and to get the chance for those people to ask questions. Now, as I explained to you, I will do that, inshallah. Okay, it's just my mistake, and I've got too much work going on. But I will, inshallah, I will do my best to upload the slides before the lecture time, so you get a chance to study before you come to lecture, and this is actually the proper way. So it is best that you study beforehand. Right, I want to end this lecture. Right, okay, the last one I'm gonna answer now. That's it. This is the absolute last one I'm gonna answer, and then we end the lecture. تفضلي. رواحة.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Doctor, I have a question for you. We had so many problems last week and the week after regarding the virtual classes. We have so many problems and we didn't get the homework, and I didn't attend the previous class. So I don't know, Doctor, if you can be patient with us for the homework, because I tried to attend again the recorded classes. So if we had a chance to send you again the homework, the last homework, I mean, the previous homework.
Well, right, okay. The thing is, I mean, we are in the third week now. I mean, you should not have any problem now. I mean, any problem you did have, you should have sorted it out by now. I mean, this is the third week. So, as I said to you, if you have technical problems, always contact the Blackboard support team. Get it done. This is the third week now. I mean, it's almost Hajj is approaching. So I do not accept any excuses of a system is not working and so on, because you have plenty of time to get it sorted. Also, the lectures are available on Blackboard. I know in the first few days we had a problem with the recordings, but this problem was sorted out about 10 days ago. So also you have no excuse. However, do the assignment and send it to me quickly. But after that, I will not accept any excuses. If any problem you have, technical problem you have, you've got to sort it out with the people that are responsible. And if you do have a problem in the subject itself, you don't understand anything, you can always ask me. Now that's it, guys. I mean, we've 10 minutes past the time. So I do apologize for those of you who did not get the chance to ask questions, but please do email me with your questions and give me a couple of days until I answer your questions. So that's for now.
تم إيقاف التسجيل.